I'm going to float like a butterfly and sting like a bee. George can't hit what his hands can't see.
Muhammad Ali is arguably the most famous athlete the world over.
So the fight is over and Muhammad Ali is still the champion.
His boxing career boasts 3-time heavyweight champion of the world, the first to ever do it. 56 wins, 37 knockouts, and an Olympic gold medal.
Didn't I tell the world that I had a surprise?
He was more than just an athlete.
Everyone from around the world knows of Muhammad Ali, not just as a boxer, but as a man who stood firm in his beliefs.
My father was the kind of person that he just said his truth. He spoke his truth.
He was a voice of a generation of Black men and women still living under legalized white supremacy in America.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everybody. Day 2, Ramadan. Day 2, you know what it is, brothers and sisters. You got day 1. Now we're going into day 2. Glad you can make it, everybody. Glad you can make it. I'm Preacher Moss, host of the SOS the Shout Out Show. Appreciate you guys dropping by. I know you had things to do. So many of you are fasting, so thank you so much for tuning in. We start off with a sad note today. Our sister, our craft services person, our dieting director, Sister Reed's grandmother passed away, so she may not be with us today, but we are with her and her family as she drives from Texas all the way up to Michigan. So we wish her and Derek safe travel, and we want to make sure that we make an extra dua, extra prayer that she's feeling well because she's been under the weather as well. All right, so we had to get that out there right up front. You know, got to take care of your family first when you're doing these type of shows. Got to take care of your family. So anybody who's coming on the show for the first time, and let me say this. I was talking to a young brother named Khalid today, and I have to say, brothers and sisters, I have been amiss in terms of who's watching the show. I'm going to admit this openly. You know, I say, hey, sometimes we get a nice little group of people, but I didn't know that there's a lot more people who are watching the show. And so for you people who are watching the show outside of the Shout Out Show family, maybe you don't come on, maybe it's just you're taking a peek or you're watching it later. Let me say thank you. I have to admit to my own errors and my own ignorance. You know, I'm not a social media guy. We've had that talk before, but it's nice to know that people are being reached, if I could say that. That people are being reached in their spaces, and those numbers on Instagram are a lot higher. I didn't even know we were on Instagram. To show you how Allah works. I didn't even know that we were on Instagram. And here we are, brothers and sisters, having this live. We're having this conversation where we have a lot of people who tune in to the Shout Out Show, which means that they're tuning in to a very, very special community. So again, if you come on the show for the first time, I understand why you may not come on the YouTube or things like that because you're watching us on IG. God bless you and thank you for your support. But if you want to, it's still an open door policy. While I'm the host, I'm not the owner of this platform. The people make the show. And anytime you want to come on the show, get in the comment section, let us know. And we're going to give you a shout out anyway. Shout out to you. You don't have to come in the comment section to get your shout out. Shout out to anybody who's supporting the Shout Out Show. Now, let me move forward. Because again, one of the things that's very special about the Shout Out Show is our community. You know, we have people who make it here all the time. And my dream is, you know, we get a little bit bigger and we have that community. We have a Shout Out Show community. Maybe we move from a half hour to an hour and I expand my studio and we pick up the production and things like that. Because let me tell you guys something. You know, we never formally launched the Shout Out Show. This is a situation where people found us, showed us appreciation, and supported us. I need to make that said. You know, we didn't have a test audience. We didn't run commercials, things like that. We've been on this. I think this is episode 356. We haven't missed a show. And what that says, brothers and sisters, is not my discipline, my ethic, but it's the awareness that people are out there and they want to be reached. People are out there and they have stories they want to tell. They want to hear stories. And you know what? I've always approached this platform that whoever comes on here has value. And I'm going to treat you with respect. I'm going to treat you with honor. And my platform, again, is your platform. You guys noticed yesterday I threw up a video. I'm probably going to play it again today. It's the Ramadan song by my brother Taurus Mateen. Loved that song. You hear what I'm saying? Love that song. And I talked to him this morning, and he had nothing but joy. I texted him, and he just loved the fact that our community, we got to premiere his video on our community, and he just loved the support and the response. So keep that up. Whoa, speaking of Taurus, my main man, I swear to God, I'm talking. I didn't even see you come on the show. If you don't mind, T, I'm gonna cue that song up again. I like that song. I listened to it while I was running today. You know, there's certain ways that people make music that uplifts the spirit, and I like the Ramadan song because it leaves just like it was a little miles-ish, Taurus, a little miles just because you left some holes in there for people to think about feeling good during Ramadan. Everybody, shout out to my main man, you know, from my band, from Love Supreme Anatomy of Gratitude, my main man for a long time, Taurus Mateen. Hey, yo, Taurus, I thought about you this morning. Guess what? I was listening to Questlove Supreme, his podcast. Guess who he had on the show? Terrence Blanchard. People, so you don't know, that's how Taurus and I met. We were both grossly underpaid by Terrence Blanchard at a club called the Jazz Estate on the east side of Milwaukee. I think Taurus got paid money, and the owner Steve tried to pay me in cocaine, but that's another story. Taurus, much love, man. Who we got next? I got to talk to you as well. Ree, we giving you some love, Ree. We hope everything is going well. Don't worry about the reception. Just make sure that eyes on the road, your hands are, 10 and 2, and you're doing what you need to do. All right. So please make sure that you have that situation in hand. We want to make sure that you're all right. You get there and you come back. And this is Mama Son, Miss Mary Moss saying happy Ramadan. Well wishes. That's right. Oops, you spelled it wrong. That's all right, Mama. It doesn't matter if you spell it wrong. The spirit was there. We appreciate it. Thank you much, Miss Mary Moss, better known as Mama Son, Sister Rabina Childs. Where have you been? We've been holding this Ramadan Mubarak for you. We appreciate you coming on the show. And thank you so much for gracing us with your presence, not only today, but with so many other days. We appreciate you. You missed the premiere, Sister Rabina. You missed the premiere of the Ramadan song by my brother Taurus Mateen. I'm going to cue that up as soon as I get a chance. I meant to cue it up, but I had to cue something else up. Mohammed Nasiruddin, what's going on, beloved? Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My brother, Ramadan Mubarak. This is day 2 of Ramadan, and our topic. And wait, before we get to our topic, do we have any more people? I know I'm missing. With Altaf, is Altaf in the house? Okay. And Johnny L. Thomas. This is my little brother, everybody. I want you to give him some love and some dua. My brother is doing Ramadan with me for the first 2 weeks, the first 14 days, trying to support his old brother, make sure I'm staying on my hustle, not sneaking out, getting Snickers during the sunlight. Appreciate you, brother. Love you. Thank you so much. We got one day down, got another one, Sister Ika. Sister Ika is doing her thing, keeping the house ready, getting the kids ready, cooking, things like that, making sure that iftar is magnifique. Thank you so much, Sister Ika, all the way from Depot. And my main man, how can we have a show without the ambassador, the Canadian ambassador to the Shout Out Show, my main man, Altaf Rashid. All right, beloved, good to see you, man. Always on time. Thank you, brother Muhammad. Just so you know, Ree, brother Muhammad just said something always important. It's by perspective, from God we come, to God we return, and I appreciate that. And my aunt says great sympathies to you and your family. My mom is probably calling, already talked to you, so I'll give you a ring, and I hope you're doing well. Nothing replaces a grandma. I'm a Isabella Mars kid. I admit it. If I was in grandma's holics, that was me. I love my grandma to the end. So it's devastating. It's hard. So I'm not going to sit there and go, I know how you feel. I don't know how you feel. I can only remember how I felt, and it wasn't great. All right. And we got a shout out Sister Satana, who is allowing me to have free hands, if you will. Sister Satana, thank you so much for coming on the show. We appreciate you. And, hey, doing what you do makes the show so much better. And I just feel like we're growing. We're growing and we're expanding. And it was a funny, every once in a while you think, hey, I'm doing all right. Somebody tells you, no, you're doing better than you actually are. And I got that news today about the ShOUT show. And I just, I just felt good. Sometimes you feel good and it doesn't even have to be bracketed by something. Like you just feel good. Like I don't really need a reason. I don't need a reason. I just need space to be able to feel good. And that's what it was today. Sister Rabina Chowdhury, if you eat one fried samosa, you have to run 2.8 miles to burn it off. I don't mess with the samosa, sister. I know about those samosas. Some of those iftars, you walk out there, ooh, you be loaded. You be loaded. I mean, those samosas are fully leaded. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Fully leaded. So people, leave those fried samosas alone. Unless you're going to get out and do those 10.8 miles. And I know about those samosas because I had some Marie's turkey lasagna. Sometimes I go to the track with the turkey lasagna and run with it while I'm eating. That's the way it goes. Let's talk about our topic today. Building capacity in your life. Building capacity in your life. Let me apologize. Actually, we had that. This was supposed to be a little treat for you. We're going to show you, play the trailer for you from Muhammad Ali documentary podcast, the universal title, but for some reason, it just stopped in the middle of it. I don't know why. Allah knows best. Stopped in the middle. Sister Tana, good pickup. She just jumped right in. We started the show. And that's kind of the way, that's why you set it up that way. So I appreciate you, Sister Tana, staying on the buttons. So, this whole thing, I thought about this while I was walking around. Building capacity in your life, man. And I realized some of the ways we can build capacity in our life sometimes is understanding that there are certain things that are going to be around us that we have absolutely no control over. Now, when I say no control over, I don't mean like, I can't do anything. I mean it a little bit more deeply. I mean it that sometimes, brothers and sisters, we engage ourselves in something or some things or some ideas or some people who in many regards negate our ability to build capacity. And when I say capacity, I don't mean like, on an elevator, you can only have 10 people on this elevator and the capacity is 1,000 pounds. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about spiritual, emotional, psycho-emotional capacity, the ability in some regards to take in some of the higher scope of understanding in life and be able to manipulate it a little bit to grow better meaning. What are you saying? The meeting I had today with the gentleman about the ShOUT show, he asked me, well, where did you want to go with the show? I said, well, I'm not going to lie. It started out on, of course, the first day of Ramadan last year. My idea is like, maybe we'll do one a week, da-da-da-da. And what happens is, as I got better knowledge about how the platform worked, I realized that I could learn and build capacity for the program because I was learning more about, of course, the platform. How you put this there, how you put this there, and that capacity allowed for more creativity. I'd like to say more creativity allowed for people to come in and enjoy the show a lot more. And that might be the case. Not so much me, but presenting an opportunity. When we talk about this whole idea of building capacity in life, understand that there are people, and I'm not going to backbite because the sun is up, but there are people who are thoroughly unlettered and unversed in how you build capacity. For them, a Monday is just a Monday, a Tuesday is just a Tuesday, and so on down the line. And it's not to say that anything is wrong with that. But there is a situation scenario whereby you have to dream. The first, I want to say, engagement of capacity is, yes, when you dream. I'm not saying daydream. I'm saying, but just the ability to have a situation scenario where you're in your thoughts, you're in your mind, and you are able to look, if you will, look deep into your own psyche and see different things, experience different things. Sometimes they're good things, sometimes they're bad things, but those are the things that are running around in your psyche. These are the psychological things that you employ. Things like fear, things like happiness, things like anxiety, things like loneliness, things like jealousy, then they're all testers of capacity. There's a thing uh, that we talk about in Islam about, sometimes you use as a vessel. Um, you use as a vessel. And that whole scope of being used as a vessel speaks to the fact that, we all have potential. We have potential. And that potential comes from opportunity. Now, not to get into potential opportunity, but just think of the idea of a vessel. One of my teachers said sometimes you have to imagine yourself as a ball of glass, and there's a brick wall, and there's a very hot oven over here. And someone, in my case, Allah takes that ball of glass and throws you against the brick wall, and you break. And somebody sweeps up all those pieces and puts it in the fire, and they take it out, and it's just this big molten lava thing, and somebody reforms you. So you're a ball of glass, but somebody reforms you into a vase. And in that vase, you can put water and flowers. And then you get smashed again. And sometimes they'll give you some cylindrical thing with little holes in it. And now you're a flute. And now you play music. And people appreciate you for the music you play. We, on the front end, if we have an opportunity, brothers and sisters, to look at the idea that we can really fully engage the idea of we want to be vessels like that. We want to be people who are flexible. Like, I'll be honest, one of the things I always fear, and I don't fear a lot of things, I fear complacency. I fear complacency. I have always worried about the fact that somebody somewhere can put me in a situation where I become so comfortable. Hear me now. I become so comfortable that I'm not doing the things that make me successful. And a lot of times the things that make you successful are the things that you engage in, you're not necessarily comfortable with right up front. Now, give that a thought. Some of the things you engage, you're not necessarily comfortable with up front. Why do you become comfortable with them over time? Because it's process. Because it's process, it's repetition. It's taking notes of your own habits and being able to be critical or self-evaluating and say, you know what, this thing right here doesn't necessarily work for me. Sorry about that. This thing doesn't necessarily work for me. And I think that honesty, when we talk about things, like I make mistakes. I make mistakes all the time. I've had some blunders on the ShOUT show. I remember talking almost 5 minutes. Guess what? It was no sound. And people were like, hey, it's no sound. And I'm just talking. And I remember going back and watching the video, and I was like, oh my God, what are you doing? And I would get very, very down about this is unacceptable. You know what I was doing, brothers and sisters? I was learning. I didn't even know I was learning. But in that space, look at what comes out of it. Not only did I learn, hey, you know what? You have to check everything before you get on the air, but you also have to create a space where it's okay to fail up. It's okay to be wrong when you're trying to expand. These days, we don't do capacity building. One of the biggest problems in public education right now is people don't believe that this is important. People won't put it in this space that this thing is extremely important. And in that space, when I say in that space, what I'm saying also is like, this is how you build. This is how you build. Like in a marriage, the reason why a lot of marriages don't work is with everybody starts learning about one another. And so what you know about that other person, that's where you stop wanting to know. And now you're doing presuppositions. You're trying to guess about what that person is thinking or guess about how they feel about you and things like that. And the guessing is so unnecessary when you could just live life and see where it goes. Learning is one of the best spaces when we talk about capacity. I deal with a lot of outliers. Oh my goodness. I got to stop the presses. This is my dear sister, Sue. Obadiah, I call her OB. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. OB, it's so good to see you on the show. I pray you well. Thank you so much for dropping by. Sue is the director of the Impact Hollywood Bureau Division. So you guys, you may go back on my Instagram and saw where I went to a Disney internship type of deal, a workshop. Sue was the one who put me there. And let me say, Sue is somebody who has inherently built her skill set on being able to expand capacity, not just for herself, but other people. Now, because you can say she's not a comedian, she's not an actress. Thank goodness she's not, because her talents lie in the fact that she creates opportunities and spaces for people with potential or interest to increase their own capacity. I don't think she gets rewarded enough. So, Sister Sue, I'm going to give you a salute right here on the Shout Out Show. We appreciate you. You are officially part of the Shout Out Show family. You can come back anytime you want to. Ramadan Mubarak. Let's give a claps up for my sister, Sue Obadiah, but I call her OB. You guys call her Sister Sue. I'll call her OB because I'm too old to change. I'm asking the question, what part of your life are you trying to compete? What part of your life are you trying to increase your capacity with? What are you trying to do different? Last year was interesting because people were forced, if you will, with a pandemic and economic problems. We were forced to think differently. Now we're a little bit away from, we're still dealing with the pandemic, yes, but it is so much not like it was last year. We have vaccines, we have understanding of the disease. What are you working on now in terms of building your own capacity? I cleared a hurdle with grad school. I was very happy about that. But I did. I turned right around. I'm like, what do I need to be working on next? And I'm building the case of, if you will, I'm building the case for what I'm going to do next in terms of deliberate practice, particularly during Ramadan. Like, reading Quran is part of my deliberate practice. It's not part of it. That's what you're supposed to do. I don't know if Taurus is still here, but if you go to Taurus's Instagram page, he has this thing where he just plays guitar for a minute. So Tana, do you have, could you pull up Taurus, if you're still here, can you tell us where we can find it? It's a beautiful thing. First of all, he knows how to, he's a world-class musician, but it's so nice because it's a meditation. It's watching a musician do a meditation for just a minute. I'll find, if I don't find it now, we'll do it and highlight it later. But these are the things I've just been thinking about, brothers and sisters. I want to take a quick break, because like you said, we gotta feed a couple people here. Quick break from our sponsor, one of our sponsors, and I'll get my other sponsor in a moment. But a quick break from our sponsor, and that, of course, is Bayan. We will be right back.
How many here believe there's a supreme being, believe there's a God? How many believe there's some power that made the sun, the moon, the stars? How many believe that this stuff didn't just come out here? Somebody wiser than us made it. How many believe there's a God?
The spiritual legacy of Muhammad is love. It's what he's done all of his life, and that is the message of Islam, is love. And Muhammad was so proud of his religion. He took it very seriously, and he knows this, I know he knows this, of the tremendous work that Bayan is doing in his honor. And I know he would be immensely pleased at this.
One of the things that really makes Bayan Claremont stand out as an institution is that not only do we have the traditional on-campus 15-week semester-long courses, but we now have an executive master's or hybrid intensive format that enables working professionals around the country to come on campus only 2 weeks a semester and do the rest of the coursework online.
The students here at Bayan Claremont are actually teachers. They taught me a lot. I benefited from the discussion more than I really thought I would. Each person brought a very unique perspective. You have a significant portion of Islamic activism and leadership represented here at Bayan Claremont.
I think with every learning experience, the biggest thing perhaps you can learn is how much you don't know. Bayan was there as that stair step for me to continue on this journey of seeking knowledge.
This program is really maybe the first of its kind. It's definitely the only one that I know of that has these unique qualities.
Bayan affords me access to a demographic that can sustain the kind of conversation I think we need to have in the Muslim community. I don't think we need to sit around talking to each other. We need to be talking to the people we think about.
I'm gonna dedicate my life to using my name and popularity, helping charities, helping people, uniting people. We need somebody in the world to help us make peace.
I always like that commercial. I'm happy to say I met Muhammad Ali twice in my life. Once as a child, of course, and once as an adult, and extraordinary guy. And I also want to big up Bayan, because the only way I was able to actually go to school and earn my master's in Islamic education was through the Muhammad Ali Leadership Scholarship. So I want to shout out Jihad Turk and Munir Sheikh, who actually really, really helped me get through the process. But what is going and getting a master's, brothers and sisters? Oh, thank you so much, everybody. Keep that up. Keep that up. Or bring it back in a minute if you don't mind, Sister Sultana. But this whole thing, and I want to wrap it up neatly, if at all possible. It's just possibilities. Don't get into a scenario where you don't value your possibilities, your options. All options aren't bad. All options aren't good. All options aren't great. Sometimes we have to find the middle ground that makes us happy, but also the middle ground that allows us to stay effective. What is your efficacy when you get into problems? How can you frame a scenario? How can you frame an obstacle and take the obstacle and make it something beneficial to what you're trying to do? These are the things that happen when you start building capacity. Sometimes I anticipate, or I go to the larger problem or the more difficult problem, because the more difficult problem, I feel like the engagement with it, if I can figure the problem out, I'm going to learn along the way. And I'm going to encourage all of us to maybe sometimes do that. Engage the difficult problems. Why? Because it gives you more than enough ample opportunity to build your capacity. I was watching this thing on TV. It's called Live Live or something like that. It's an inmate, this guy named Jay Williams. Pretty popular guy. And well, he's a former inmate. He gives all these prison stories. And he says, let's live life. He says that. He's been released, but he goes, let's live life. And he talks about things that are really horrific in prison, but he is able to take some modality of it and go, but here's what I learned. Here's what we should be thinking about. And I'm like, hey, man, you don't have to go to prison to do that. Okay. Let me give a shout out for my sponsor, and I'm working on her ad right now. I want to give a shout out to BeFinanciallyIndependent.com. Again, that's BeFinanciallyIndependent.com. What does BeFinanciallyIndependent.com mean? In a nutshell, it's building your financial capacity. Too often I hear people talk about, if I had money, if I had money, if I had money. And the question is, why don't you have money? And if you don't have money, do you know where to go get money? So it's not a question of if I had money. The question is, what would you do with it? So a company like BeFinanciallyIndependent.com, and if you don't want to go to the website, you can call 1-800-679-3175. Again, that's 1-800-679-3175. If you don't want to build capacity, then don't go there. But if you're looking at your finances and say, you know what, at some point in time, I'm going to meet challenges. At some point in time, I'm going to want to scale up. At some point in time, yes, financially, I want to increase my capacity to do things with my money that I may not have been able to do. And we're not talking about being rich with money. We're talking about being smart with money. If you want to do that, call 1-800-679-3175 or go to BeFinanciallyIndependent.com. I'll have more for you later this week about BeFinanciallyIndependent.com, because Ramadan is also a period of transactions. Oh, preach, what are you talking about? It is a period of transactions. When I say transactions, I'm talking about you pay your zakat. But do you understand that your zakat is part of a financial safety net for those who don't have? That's why it's really important for you to be able to earn more money, save more money, because your zakat comes from your disposable income, not the stuff you have to spend on all your bills, but what you have left. And sometimes what you have left, even before you get to Ramadan, those are the things that make the difference between kids going to college, you being able to pay off your house, car, having good credit, being able to cover yourself when you get ill, accident, crisis, and chaos happen all the time. So think about that. Now, appreciate it. If you guys give me a minute, I got to play my song, man. If y'all don't mind, I got to play my song, and I just messed up. I just messed up. But y'all know what I'm going to play. I think I'm going to have Taurus. I'd like to have Taurus on the show just to talk about how you came to this idea that you're going to do this song. You know, because it's easy for me to talk about it, but I'm going to ask Taurus to come on. So could you put up his Instagram again, Sister Satana? Please put up his Instagram again, because we want to make sure that everybody goes there and checks it out. In fact, I may, if it works out, brothers and sisters, I may steal a couple of his clips off of his Instagram so that we can hear that and enjoy it. You know, that's why, you know, I've known Taurus for a long time, so this is actually pretty cool. All right, people, so just hold on here. Here we go.
Mommies and daddies fasting all day. It's Ramadan. It's Ramadan. Remembrance of the one who created us, Allah. It's Ramadan. Drinking in His love, it keeps us full all day. And in the night we pray. Thank you for helping us through another day. We celebrate. It's Ramadan. It's Ramadan. Our guiding book, the Quran, was revealed in Ramadan. To the Prophet Muhammad, his biggest miracle. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. First 10 days, we pray for mercy, for life to be good to us. Second 10 days, we pray for forgiveness. Apologize to our Lord for the wrong that we have done. Last 10 days, we pray for protection. Save us from the fire and dark. Let's free ourselves from our earthly desires and strengthen our hearts and minds. Mommies and daddies fasting all day. It's Ramadan. It's Ramadan. Remembrance of the one who created us, Allah. It's Ramadan. Drinking in His love, it keeps us full all day. And in the night we pray. Thank you for helping us through another day. We celebrate. It's Ramadan. It's Ramadan. La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. 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 Mommies and daddies fasting all day. It's Ramadan. It's Ramadan. Remembrance of the one who created us, Allah. It's Ramadan. Drinking in His love, it keeps us full all day. And in the night we pray. Thank you for helping us through another day. We celebrate. It's Ramadan. It's Ramadan. La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah.
Thank you, Taurus. We're gonna wrap up, everybody. Listen, I appreciate you coming on the show. We have a lot of people in the chat today. All praises due to Allah, because that's not through me. Again, a shout out and condolences to our sister Ree, and be careful, you and Derek going up that road. We want you to come back safely. And you know what? Grandma passed away during the month of Ramadan. That must mean something. So you've been hanging out with us Muslims a while, and that means something. So I'm gonna make dua for Reed. Could you please send me her name so I give her proper accordance when I pray? Everybody, this has been real. I appreciate you. God bless, and we'll see you next time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Preacher Moss, this is Shout Out Show. Ramadan.
Hey everybody, this is your brother Preacher Moss. Listen, I hope that you enjoyed your Shout Out Show experience. We'll be back with the next show, the next Shout Out Show. A simple ask before you go, please help your brother out. Click that subscribe button, click that notify button, and I'll see you again on this side of the microphone. You probably wonder what that smell is. That's me. I smell good. And the reason I smell good is because I use oils from Tarif Attar. So I'm not saying you can't smell good. I'm not even saying you stink. I'm saying you have the opportunity to smell exquisite. Check out tarifattar.com for some of the best oils and scents in town.